had a story, you had role-playing elements, and then you also had some RTS.
Well, this leads to an interesting thing, and I don't know why people hate it so much, but you have the single-player storyline, which is becoming more story-oriented, and the multiplayer is already all there in the first game. So if you just play StarCraft for the multiplayer, you already have access to everything without needing to get the expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, well, aside from, like, new units, but you really don't need that.
Sure enough.
Well, there's another topic that I had on here we sort of segue into. Real ID.
I know, and actually, I get where they're going at, and I don't mind it because I'll be playing StarCraft 2 or World of Warcraft, and if I want to know that somebody that I know is who's on another server, and I want to know if they're online and chat with them, I can. The only downside to that is that people know your real name now.
Well, this is it. There's already numerous programs out there that will do that exact thing for you, and you don't need.
So Blizzard just decide, hey, people have been doing this. Let's just put it back. Let's just put it into the game ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've used, I've already had 3 different things that do that. There's Steam, there's Xfire, which also has voice chat in it.
Yeah,
and crap, I can't remember the name. It was it's basically just a downloadable mod for WoW, and you can talk to. Basically, you can pick a guild from any server, anywhere, and you can link up your guild chats.
Nice. So
that everybody can talk to everybody, and you can even PM each other. It's really awesome.
Kick ass.
But that's just it. Nobody would need to know anybody's real name. So, I mean, having the real ID thing, I mean, yes, you can set it up so that only the people who you really know and trust can be friends on your list there. However, that sort of defeats the whole purpose of the thing in getting to know everybody who you are allied with.
Yeah.
It gets rid of the privacy.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, one of the reasons why they implemented this Real ID thing is to prevent, well, basically trolls and whatnot. However, if you're only going to include friends anyways, your chances are you're not going to be trolled by them anyways.
Yeah.
And aside from that, it's just they could just fake who they are anyhow.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's really just pointless. Why even bother?
It was something, I guess. It was something like with the troll thing, but I think it was also something like they saw that so many people were using those other programs, and since like what they did with Ventrilo, with the speech thing that they had incorporated, and even the video editing, because they know that machinima is a huge thing in their games. They added a video recording software and or a function and the audio function. I've used both of them. The video one, as far as I know, isn't that bad. The audio one, though, I heard is a little bit of a glitchy.
Yeah, and aside from that, come on, Ventrilo is so much better than the built-in crap that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, not only does it hardly use up any resources, which makes it fine to use outside the game, but you can also have multiple channels to talk in, and you can actually adjust the sound quality of each individual user.
Yeah.
And it stays that way. Whereas WoW doesn't give you that much freedom. It's just... I mean, yeah, it's nice that they were thinking about adding these features, but they should have done it right. They should have put in a little more effort. I mean, otherwise you're just adding more useless features to the game.
Definitely.
I mean, it's not like it... I mean, all right, I know nothing is forcing me to use it, and it's really just pointless bitching if I don't use it anyways.
Dude, however, I don't even play the game anymore.
Yeah, I know. But it would be... It'd be nice to see them put a little more effort into their games. I mean, yes, it's like, hey, all these people use voice chat programs while we play. Let's put it in their own. They should at least take a page from those voice chat programs and do it right.
True enough.
But yeah, this whole Real ID thing, I mean,
yeah,
this is part of that whole losing your anonymity on the internet. I mean, just look at Facebook. I can find anybody...
Pretty much, yeah.
Just about anybody I could possibly want to see in the world, and get all their personal information. I get pictures of them.
Actually, no, they've actually.
I know they can set it up so that you can make certain things private.
Yeah.
However, a lot of people don't. And they makes it really easy to track down people. And yeah.
Eventually,
I mean, to play devil's advocate here, it's a stalker's best friend.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what World of Warcraft's going to come down to. It's just going to become one big Facebook.
Well, they've already linked up the Real ID with Facebook, so... Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we are.
I mean, find people on Facebook who play WoW. Hey, look, here's this huge list of people.
Yeah, here's about 75% of the population of Facebook plays WoW. Because, 11 million people!
Yeah, it's a
Worldwide!
ridiculously huge game.
It's a huge game, like my mage. To quote the Vern Troyer commercial.
Why?
Yeah, I went there.
Now, I know I may gain a bit of hate for this, but as someone who enjoys going to 4chan, the thing that I absolutely like most about it is being anonymous. I mean, it's not so much the...
you don't take responsibility.
It's not so much the... It's not that. It's not so much the freedom and responsibility that's lifted off of you from that sort of thing. It's just that you don't have to get to know anyone. You don't need to put a face to someone. If someone is being a complete douchebag, you don't need to... You don't build up hate for someone because they're completely anonymous. One day you could be best friends agreeing on absolutely everything, and the next day you could be mortal enemies.
Yeah, it's like the anime .hack sign for the anime fans out there. In the world, which is the game in that anime, nobody knows who the other person's the true identity is, unless you actually are told by that person or like do some actual like really in-depth like detective work.
Although that's still a little different because all the people in that game have basically they just choose one appearance for themselves and they have one particular name for themselves.
They choose an avatar and stuff like that.
So that way you can still build up animosity or friendships that way, which is still against the spirit of Anonymous.
All right.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty close. But
they have a shell. They have like a protective mask over themselves.
But what is a better shell than being completely unknown?
Yeah.
Being faceless. I don't know. I just really like that aspect of the internet.
With no face.
Yeah, really, even though I already know who you are. Anyhow.
How about Avatar, the Korra thing? Legend of Korra.
Oh, yeah.
Going completely away from the video game.
Jumping to a whole new thought train here.
No, to cartoons.
There's this new Avatar cartoon coming out. And, like Avatar The Last Airbender, that is.
I'm going to have to let you take
it. And it takes place a few years in the future. Follows an entirely new cast, specifically Korra as the new Avatar. A chick who's a little bit older than Aang was when he took on the role. And from what we've seen, it starts off in a rather industrialized city.
Yeah, I think you were telling me it takes place on... The style is very steampunkish.
Well, I'll get to that aspect later.
Okay.
But I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, because I prefer a little more modern feel in my stories like this.
Were you a fan of the original series, or...?
Well, kind of. I never got to see the whole thing. I liked what I saw, but from what I hear, the best part of the series is the first half anyways, so...
Yeah.
But anyhow. Yeah, so I'm really curious to see this new take on things. It's less... Oriental, less fantasy, and a little more,
They're still Oriental, like,
contemporary. Oh, yeah, there absolutely is.
It had to be, because this whole series
it's just been modernized, just a tad.
Yeah.
And I really like that sort of in-between section of fantasy.
It's almost like the world they're living in is slowly progressing, like things usually should be doing, not like...
Unlike, say, Star Wars.